Hold on. Devin Haney is ranked #1 at welterweight with the WBC 147, a division he hasn't even fought in yet? That's crazy, right?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Is it really crazy, though? Is it really some Devin Haney privilege, you know, DHP things? See what I did there? Is that what's really going on? Or is this type of process typical of boxing, but you didn't take notice until it happens to somebody that you recognize? I think the latter is closer to the truth, but you know we gonna talk about it.
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know I'm lying.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? It's your boy, Dr. Boxing Talk, back for another YouTube video. Banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, man. I know what time it is. The doctor's in the house, man. So check this out. Man, people that pay attention to the rankings in the boxing world, they are losing their minds. I'm talking about heads are exploding. They're going crazy right now. They are irate because they can't seem to wrap their head around the fact that a young champion in Devin Haney can be ranked #1 in a division in which he's never even fought in yet. That sounds crazy, right? Especially when you consider what just happened in his last fight.
We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all.
You know what I'm saying? Where he was cheated, but still, it's hard for people to erase that image out of their mind in which he was brutalized.
I see you. A left hook from down. Oh, he dropped him! Oh! Oh, bitch! Two big bombs come from Ryan Garcia. Another left hook from Ryan Garcia. Oh my God! Oh my gosh! Oh my God!
You know, by the hands of Ryan Garcia, right? So it's like, hold on, man. This is nothing but politics, right? Well, I want to clear up some of that situation. Now, I want to be very clear before we even get started. I want to put out a disclaimer. I'm not justifying any actions like this because I do recognize it as boxing politics. What I am combating is the thought and the notion and the belief that this is something that's atypical of boxing. You know, no, this is very typical, you know, and let's explain now. You know, like I said, I'm not agreeing with it, but this is what happens in boxing. So this is nothing new. This is not a trailblazing event that's transpired and that's headed by Devin Haney. You know, he's not the pioneer of this once again, you know, so let's talk about it, right? Devin Haney has been risen, you know, he's been risen to the #1 rankings in the 147-pound division for the WBC, in which Mario Barrios is the current champion, right, at the 147 pounds, right? So it's like, wait, how'd Devin Haney do this, right? This is crazy. This is clearly a sign of, you know, people that he's working with putting him up in these rankings. So he's the beneficiary of some type of politics, right? Maybe at the hands of Big Turk, maybe at the hands of Mauricio Solomon, who's a WBC president. Slow down, little buddy. You know what I'm saying? Just take it easy. You know, like I said, this is something that probably shouldn't happen because I believe it's unfair to guys like Jin Sasaki, you know, who earned their position at in the welterweight division. I think it's unfair to guys like that are still fighting, you know, legitimate fights and currently pushing their way back up to the system, trying to bounce back, like Giovanni Santillan.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that? You know damn well who I am. Who the fuck is that?
And other guys, you know, that have made their way and staked their claim, you know, like Sissoko, you know, these guys are good fighters, you know, and they shouldn't be overlooked. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, this is boxing. And, you know, when you have a lot of pull and you have a lot of following, well, you will get, you know, privilege, you know, you will be the beneficiary of some, you know, fortuitous turn of events in your favor. So I want to be clear, right? Devin Haney was the champ before the situation that transpired with him and Ryan Garcia, right? At 140, right? He was declared the champion at recess. And then Alberto Puello was subsequently moved up to the full champion. And he'll be defending that against Sandor Martin. So naturally in the WBC sanctioned body, we have seen these things happen before where a guy that's a champion at recess or a champion in the lower division, well, their status moves up as they move up in weight, right? For example, the WBC interim champion was David Benavidez at 168. He moved up to 175. Guess what? He's still the WBC interim champion, right? It's not, and this was before he fought David Morrell. This is before he even fought Alexander Vaznik, his first fight at 175. All he had to do was declare that he's going to 175, and his status rose with him, right? I'm gonna give you another example in the WBC sanctioned body, right? At cruiserweight, Badou Jack is a champion right now for the WBC. Well, if you paid attention, you know Noel McCain was a champion. Now he's champion at recess, and Badou Jack was a champion at recess, and now they just flip-flop, right? Noel McCain, who hasn't been available, he's been demoted, if you will, to champion to recess. And Badu Jack, who wasn't available before and hasn't had any fights in quite some time, he's been, you know, uplifted and promoted back to the champion, the full champion, and he's fighting Ryan Rozicki, the same mandatory that was there for Noel McCalin when he was a champion. So he didn't lose his status, even though he hasn't really been fighting. He hasn't really been active, right? So that's just an example of this happening again. Once again, I'm not defending it. I'm not being an apologist for it. I'm just telling you that these things typically happen. This is nothing atypical of boxing. Now, I know you're probably saying, hey, well, that's just the WBC. That's Mauricio Solomon. Up. Hold on now. Let's go to the IBF. I know y'all remember what happened to Tim Tszyu, right? When Tim Tszyu lost to Sebastian Fedora, it was, most of us think it was as a result of a cut, right? It was a hellacious cut. It wasn't of any malicious intent by Sebastian Fedora. But the fact remains that the cut severely impaired Tim Tszyu's vision and it drained his energy. At the end of the day, still, what happened was that he lost both his titles to Sebastian Fedora. And how did that come into fruition? Well, Sebastian Fedora got knocked out in his last fight to Brian Mendoza, and he got a title shot right after that because Keith Thurman, you know, he had to pull out. They needed a replacement. Still, there were some circumstances around it, but still, the guy came off of a loss, a knockout loss, and he was placed right in the title fight. Now, it gets better, right? Tim Tszyu, what happened, right? Now, this is where the IBF comes in. Tim Tszyu came right back because, let me be very clear. So that was for the WBO, Tim Tszyu's WBO belt and Tim Tszyu's WBC belt. Now, this is where the IBF comes in, like I told you, right? Tim Tszyu, coming off of that loss, what was his next fight? It was to Bakram Murtazaliev, who's what? A champion in the IBF. So he's coming off a loss and he gets a title shot, right? So these things happen in boxing, man. Now he got beat up and he got destroyed. He probably wishes in hindsight that he wouldn't have took that opportunity. But he did get it, and you know, he's coming off of a loss, right? Did he really deserve that over some other people? Maybe not, but he had the backing to push him to that position. Now let's keep it going, right? You might be like, okay, well, that's just crazy circumstances. Somebody got cut, somebody lost their belts, and then somebody who's a star coming back to the IBF against an unknown opponent. Well, check this out. The WBA, right? You go down to 126, Nick Ball. Nick Ball is having his first title defense against who? TJ Doheny. TJ Doheny wasn't even ranked until he started fighting Naoya Inoue. And when he fought Naoya Inoue at 122 or a weight class below, what happened? He got stopped as a result of engaging with the pound for pound talent of Naoya Inoue. But guess what? He's moving up to 126 in the WBA, and somehow he's getting a title defense, regardless of his ranking. So I just want to show y'all that this stuff is not atypical of boxing. This is unfortunately a common occurrence, and it's not Devin Haney's fault. You know, it's not anybody else's fault that's the beneficiary of these advantageous positions that they're placed in. You know, we got to look at the system of boxing, you know what I'm saying? So before y'all get mad at Devin Haney or any other fighter that's a beneficiary of some, you know, some nice rankings, I want y'all to take a step back and ask yourself, did you get mad when somebody else was the beneficiary? Are you really getting mad at the action, or are you getting mad at the person that's benefiting from the action? Are you getting mad at the person that's doing the action? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these people's reactions are based off of their dislike or disdain for a certain fighter, or their positive approval of the action is based on the fact that they like the fighter, you know, or, you know, and that to me, that's crazy. It doesn't change the action. So if you're not mad at, if you weren't mad at anybody that I just named before, and there's countless people, those are just examples that I decided to give. If you weren't mad at any other time that this situation has happened in the past, then don't be mad now because you don't like Devin Haney.
Shut up, bitch.
You know what I'm saying? And same with even, let's go to Ryan Garcia, right? The guy who they're destined to meet each other later in the future, right? For their rematch, right? Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero are fighting for a WBA world belt. What the freak is that?
Know your fucking place, trash.
What is a WBA world belt? It's just going to cause confusion for casuals who don't know that Stanionis is the full champ. He's the real champ. And what about the guys in the WBA at 147 that have been working their behinds off to be in their rankings, right? It just it's kind of disrespectful to them. And Ryan Garcia has never been highly ranked, or he's never been a champion, a full champion. He's been an interim champion with the WBC, but he's never even been highly ranked in the WBA at all, let alone not fought. He has never fought at 147, and he's never been ranked with them at 140. So how the heck is he fighting for any type of title? You see what I'm saying? Oh, but you weren't mad then. So I'm just saying, don't be mad now. Keep the same energy. At least be consistent. You know what I'm saying? That's all I ask for. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Don't forget to smack that like button if you rock with your boy, but also if I educated you on some of these things with boxing, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget to smack that like button. But most importantly, remember with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. Let me know in the comments if you agree with this or you still think it's wrong. Like I said, I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying that, you know, I just want to bring light that a lot of people are acting like this is something new. This is nothing new. This type of things happens. In fact, it happens frequently in boxing, man. So y'all be easy. God bless.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.